Pulled into the McDonald's outside of Boston Billiards. I got myself a GTO chicken sandwich and some plus EV French fries, plus a Diet Coke. Plan is to play some 1-2 and 1-3, and yeah, hopefully it goes well.
First hand of the session's a big one. Action folds around to the hijack, who makes it $12. That's when I peel pocket kings next to act in the cutoff. I make a standard 3-bet to $35, and it folds around to the hijack, who 4-bets us to $82. Absolutely loving my life right now. Already thinking about that nice Chili's dinner I'll be able to take my girlfriend on. I fake tank for about 5 or 6 seconds and then move all in. My dreams of chicken crispers and french fries and chips and dips all go out the window when he snap calls and tables pocket aces. What the fuck, dude? That was not part of my plan. To make matters worse, he goes, "Oh yeah, watch this river," before immediately flopping top set and rendering my hand dead. Starting the session, $300 in the hole. What can you do? Still a bit tilted after the last hand. Nothing cheers you up more than the dude who just stacked you, straddling on the button every time you're in the fucking small blind. Anyway, so I'm in the small blind, there's a button straddle, and I peel pocket queens. I raise to $15. The big blind, middle position, and button, I'll make the call. Off to the flop, which comes 9-5-3, all hearts. All in all, a pretty good flop. I flop an overpair along with the queen high flush draw. Good enough for me to continue, so I put a bet of $20 out. The big blind calls, and the middle position and button both fold. The turn is the 5 of diamonds, which shouldn't change much. If I was good before, I should be good now. I down bet a little bit, about $30, somewhere around a third the size of the pot. Here I'm targeting the ace of hearts, king of hearts, and any pair that might want to stick around. Sure enough, the big blind makes the call, and we're off to the river, which is the 4 of clubs. Not scared of any flushes, because those hands would have raised on a prior street. I bet relatively small again, to the tune of $50, targeting 9x holdings. The button quickly makes a call. I table my queens, and he shows Jack 9 for a flopped top pair. After getting coolered like that, in the first real hand I played, winning a nice pot like this really helps for the rest of the session. I wasn't recording for this hand, but I'll use pictures to make a dramatic recreation of the events. I'm going to be represented by Vogelson here, because our poker faces are very similar. The villain will be represented by Dennis Reynolds pissed off, because this guy was on tilt. I probably heard 3 or 4 bad beat stories from him in the hour that we played together. Alright, so I'm under the gun, and I look down at ace 9 of diamonds, and open to $15. Under the gun 2 makes the call. Then the main villain, 3 bets to 50. It folds around to me, and I make the questionable call. I probably shouldn't be flatting ace 9 suited out of position, but I don't know. I didn't want to fold. Under the gun 2 folds, so we're heads up to a flop, which comes king, queen, 5, 2 diamonds. This board hits the 3-better harder than a Skrillex beat drop in 2009, so I check. Then, surprisingly, villain snap jams his last $208. I'm just sitting there thinking like, what the fuck? Is he really like playing a set like this? Does he have ace king? Like, what the fuck's going on here? I gone over. I have 80% of the nuts. I make the call. My over probably isn't relevant here, considering he has kings, queens, king, queen, ace, king, and an ace isn't going to save me from those hands. So I'm pretty much just hoping for a diamond. Turn, 6 of diamonds. We drill the absolute nuts on the turn. Still hoping to fade a board pair, which we do when the river comes to 2 of diamonds. We table the nuts. He gets up, freaks out, and then runs off, never to be seen again. By the way he reacted, he probably had a set, and I sucked out massively on him, so If that's the case and you're watching this video, sorry, bro. Sometimes you gotta call. Diamonds are hot. The action on this 1-3 table was insane. There was a straddle just about every hand, and people were regularly opening to $20 or $25. Unfortunately, I'd been card dead for about an hour, so hadn't played any big hands. Despite the fact every other hand it seemed like was over $500 and included an all-in. My luck changes when there's a button straddle, and it's to me in the big blind, and I peel the beautiful Jack 5 of diamonds. I decide to lay the trap and just call the extra $2 with this premium holding. It folds to a middle position player who makes it $20. The cutoff calls 20 and the button defends his straddle. I think about squeezing with my pocket nuts here, but I decide to lay the double trap and just make the flat call for 15 more. My deception is immediately rewarded when the flop comes 10-9-4, all diamonds. I continue to disguise the strength of my hand by checking first to act. The original raiser takes the bait and puts out a bet of $40. The cutoff's a smart man, he gets out of the way, but the button makes the call. The time for deception and deceit is over. I spring the trap and check raise to $110 US. The pre-flop aggressor in middle position has a scared look in his eyes, like he knows he's somehow been outplayed by a master poker wizard. This realization takes hold, and he decides, after a brief tank, to fold his cards. The button quickly follows suit, and my trap fails horribly. It's unfortunate when you play a hand so GTO, so professionally, so perfect, and you somehow make the minimum. The middle position player later tells me he had pocket jacks, so my read that he was terrified was spot on. Let me know in the comments, would you slow play this monster?
He looks like a bluff.
It's been a while since I've gone out of line. Plus, I'm trying to get into this action after not getting dealt many playable hands for the last couple hours. Sometimes you gotta make your own luck. No better hand to do that with than 10-8 offsuit. I'm in early position, and I raise to $15. There's a late position call, then the small blind bumps it up to $40. For the most part, if I'm getting out of line and someone 3-bets me pre-flop, I just fold. However, this 3-bet is insanely small. Someone already called my $15 raise, so it's only $25 to win a pot of over 70. Plus, if I call, the late position player is incentivized to call as well, which he does. We're off to a flop, which comes King, Jack, 5, all clubs. The original raiser in the small blind checks. I check, and the late position player checks as well. The turn is a brick, the 7 of diamonds, and the small blind checks to me again. Now I start thinking, double Broadway boards, even monotone, should favor his range as a 3-better, but he's checked both flop and turn. If you were playing a big hand like ace-king with the ace of clubs, a flop flush, or even a set, he would have bet the turn after the flop checks through. So I'm pretty sure the small blind is weak here, probably holding something like 8s, 9s, or 10s. Then the late position player double flatted, first my open, and then the small blind's 3-bet. So he's likely holding a suited connector that didn't connect with this board. And if he had a flop flush, he probably would have bet that when checked to him on the flop. For these reasons, combined with the fact I can't really win with 10 high, I bet $50 as an airball bluff. The late position player folds pretty quickly. Then the small blind thinks for a couple minutes and ends up folding. Face up, showing pocket 9s with no club. Like I said, sometimes in poker, you gotta make your own luck.
Oh wow. He never bluffed.
Next hand, I pick up ace-jack offsuit in late position. There's 2 limpers to me, so I raise to 20. Both limpers make the call, and we're off to a flop 3 ways, which comes ace, jack, 3, 2 clubs. I have top 2 pair, so good enough for me to see bet, I guess. I make it $20 and only the player to my right makes the call. The turn's not great, the 7 of clubs, bringing in the front door flush. The out of position player checks, and I check back for a little bit of pot control. It's very possible he was calling with a flush draw, so I like managing the size of the pot in these situations. The river bricks out, and he checks to me again. No way he's checking a flush, so I need to go for a little value, charge ace-x. Can't really think of many hands I can call besides that, but I have top 2 pair, so I have to bet. I make it $50, and he quickly folds. He was a friendly guy, so I showed him I had the goods, and he later tells me he folded pocket 9s, which I think makes a lot of sense. Alright, final interesting hand of the night, and it's also the biggest. I'm in the big blind, and there's a button straddle on. Actions to me, and I peel 2 red ducks. I perform the standard pro move of limping in, and there's a middle position raise to $20. A late position player makes the call, and the button does as well. I'm obviously in there. I don't limp to fold to a single measly raise, plus I'm getting like 1,000,000 to 1 odds. Again, pro level stuff going on here. We're 4 ways to a flop, and bang! Deuce of clubs right there in the window. I can feel my eyes dilate as I fantasize about the massive pot I'm about to win. Those fantasies are subdued when the next 2 cards are the king and 10 of clubs. So I'm sitting with bottom set on a monotone board. 4 ways. This is a dangerous situation. I'm first to act, and I check. I want to see what other players do before I start pumping money into this pot. It checks around to the button, who makes it $50. I quickly make the call, as I'm still ahead of strong hands. I'm obviously behind flop flushes and higher sets that the button could be doing this with. But pocket 10s and pocket kings would probably be 3-bet pre-flop, so mostly scared of the flush combinations. The 2 other players get out of the way, and we're off to the turn, which comes the ace of diamonds. This is a pretty interesting card, because if he was betting out with the naked ace of clubs, he now improves to top pair. I check and flow, and the big blind quickly bets $80. I'm still ahead of a ton of hands he could be going for value with, so I make the call. The river is a great card, the king of spades. I'm now sitting with a full house in an already inflated pot. I'm not exactly sure what to do. On one hand, he could have rivered a better full house than me, but the only combo of that makes sense is king 10. So it's more likely he flopped a flush or has some 2-pair holding. He has about a 2/3 pot bet left behind, and if I shove, it might scare away his flushes and trips holdings, and I wouldn't be giving counterfeit 2 pairs a chance to bluff. So I decide to check and flow and hope he jams. That's exactly what happens. He shoves his last $220, and I snap call. I table my boat, and he shows 7-5 of clubs for a flopped flush. Looks like we got pretty lucky on that river, but I'm happy how I played the hand. I played a few more hands, but I was pretty beat, so I decided to rack up and book a nice win. Alright, also, I'm doing a new thing where I'm going to choose 1 comment to feature. So if you want to be featured in the outro of the next video, drop a comment, and maybe I'll select you.
Alright, just finished the session. Pretty swingy. Booked a $260 win, $270, something like that. Yeah, feels good to book a win after running kings into aces, and yeah, pretty swingy.